looking everywhere, that's how the story goes. Grab your gear, hold on tight, it's a wild ride.
Welcome to the Zombie Story Zone, your ultimate destination for thrilling tales of survival, suspense, and the undead. Today, we bring you a chilling new story, The 12 Days of Terror, where the festive season takes a terrifying turn, as an eerie outbreak turns holiday cheer into chaos. Follow the journey of Maddie and Jake as they fight for survival against an apocalyptic nightmare that grows deadlier with each passing day. If you enjoy spine-tingling stories like this, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to our channel, and press the bell icon so you never miss an update. Share this story with your friends and spread the terror. We'd love to hear from you. 2014, let us know in the comments how you liked this story and what you'd like to see next. Your feedback helps us make this channel even better. Thank you for your support, and let's dive into the nightmare together.
Show, fight or flight, will unite as the horror unfolds in the Zombie Story Zone adventure.
It was December 14th when the first sign of something unnatural appeared in the quiet coastal town of Evergreen Bay. Madison, Maddie to her friends, had just finished her late-night shift at the diner and was walking back to her small apartment. The air smelled of pine and sea salt, Christmas lights twinkling on every corner, their reflection shimmering in puddles left by a recent rain. Everything seemed ordinary until she heard the sound. A low, guttural groan echoed from the shadows near an old oak tree. Maddie stopped, her breath visible in the chill night air. "Hello?" she called out, gripping the strap of her bag tightly. From the darkness emerged a figure, hunched and slow. It wasn't unusual to see someone stumbling out of a bar, but this was different. The person, if it was a person, moved with a jerky, unnatural gait, as if every step was a struggle against gravity. When the figure stepped into the glow of a street lamp, Maddie's stomach flipped. Its face was pale, eyes sunken, and lips cracked and peeling. But what made her heart race was the blood smeared across its mouth and the ragged remains of a bird clutched in its hands. A turtle dove, its white feathers stained red. "What the hell?" Maddie whispered, backing away. The figure groaned again, its milky eyes locking onto her. Instinct screamed at her to run, but her legs felt like lead. The sound of a car horn snapped her out of her paralysis. A sleek black Jeep skidded to a halt nearby, and a man jumped out. He was tall, with tousled dark hair and a leather jacket that looked more suited to a biker gang than Evergreen Bay. "Hey, get down!" he shouted, raising what looked like a crossbow. Maddie dropped to the ground just as the twang of the bowstring sliced through the air. The bolt struck the creature square in the chest, and it collapsed with a wet thud. Maddie scrambled backward, her heart hammering as the man approached the corpse, nudging it with his boot. "Not fully turned yet," he muttered, then turned to Maddie. "You okay?" What was that?" she stammered. "Trouble," he said grimly, offering her a hand. "Name's Jake. You might want to get inside. Things are about to get a lot worse." By the next morning, the news was flooded with reports of bizarre attacks across the region. People described their attackers as sick or zombie-like, though authorities dismissed the claims as mass hysteria fueled by social media. But Maddie knew better. She'd seen it with her own eyes. Jake showed up at the diner that afternoon, looking out of place among the cheerful holiday decor. Maddie was wiping down a table when he slid into a booth, fixing her with an intense gaze. "We need to talk," he said. Maddie glanced around. "I'm working. This isn't going to wait," he insisted.
Reluctantly, she sat across from him. "What do you know about what's happening?" "More than I'd like to," Jake said. "You saw it last night. That wasn't just some drunk. It was infected. And the infection's spreading fast." "Infected with what?" He hesitated, then leaned closer. "It's called the mortis virus. Turns people into, well, you saw. And it's not random. Someone's orchestrating this." Maddie frowned. "Why would anyone do that?" Jake's jaw tightened. "I'm still figuring that out," But it's no coincidence this is happening 12 days before Christmas. On the second day, the zombie turtle dove attacks escalated. Pairs of infected birds, now grotesque and decaying, swooped down on unsuspecting townsfolk. Jake's warnings about the mortis virus began to make horrifying sense. He explained that the infection didn't just affect humans, animals were vulnerable too. Maddie had spent the day helping him board up her apartment and gathering supplies, her mind reeling. Despite the chaos, she couldn't help noticing Jake's determination. He wasn't just some drifter, he knew how to fight and seemed to have a personal stake in stopping the outbreak. By the third day, chaos had engulfed Evergreen Bay. 3 infected French hens appeared in the town square, their talons razor-sharp and their eyes glowing with an unnatural light. Maddie and Jake barely escaped as the creatures attacked, their feathers flying like a storm of deadly knives. As the days passed, the pattern beckoned in me clear, each new wave of attacks mirrored the gifts from the old Christmas carol, the 12 Days of Christmas. On the 4th day, zombie-calling birds emerged, their shrieks deafening and disorienting. On the 5th day, 5 infected golden ring-tailed lemurs escaped from the local zoo, their agility making them nearly impossible to evade. Amid the escalating terror, Maddie and Jake found themselves relying on each other more than they'd expected. Jake's tough exterior softened as he opened up about his past. He'd lost his sister to a similar outbreak years ago and had since dedicated his life to tracking and stopping the spread of the mortis virus. Maddie shared her own struggles, from losing her parents in a car accident to feeling stuck in the small town she'd always called home. Their connection deepened as they faced danger together. By the 6th day, when 6 infected geese attacked the town's frozen lake, Jake risked his life to save Maddie. Pulling her from the icy water after one of the creatures dragged her under, he held her close, his warmth chasing away the chill. "Don't you dare give up on me," he whispered fiercely, his breath warm against her ear. By the 7th day, the streets of Evergreen Bay were overrun. 7 swans, or what was left of them, attacked in a flurry of blood and feathers. The once pristine snow was marred by signs of battle, and survivors huddled wherever they could find shelter. Maddie and Jake organized small groups of townsfolk, teaching them how to defend themselves and sharing the limited supplies they had. The weight of leadership pressed heavily on both of them, but they found strength in each other. "We are going to get through this," Maddie said one evening as they barricaded the doors of an old-school gymnasium. "We have to." Jake's eyes softened as he looked at her. "You're braver than you give yourself credit for." By the 8th day, the attacks became more coordinated. 8 infected milkmaids, their skin grey and their movements eerily synchronized, stormed a nearby farm where survivors had sought refuge. Jake and Maddie led a daring rescue mission, barely escaping with their lives. "They are getting smarter," Jake muttered afterward, his face grim. "Whoever's behind this, they are upping the stakes." By the 9th day, the town was barely recognizable. 9 zombie ladies danced in the street, their twisted forms a mockery of grace. Jake and Maddie holed up in an abandoned church, strategizing their next move. It was there, in the flickering candlelight, that their partnership turned into something more. "You make me want to fight harder," Jake admitted, his voice low. "I've spent so long running, pushing people away. But you make me want to stay." Maddie's heart ached at his words. "I'm not letting you face this alone," she said firmly. "We are in this together." Their lips met in a desperate kiss, a fleeting moment of hope amid the darkness. By the 12th day, the ultimate horror unfolded. 12 zombie drummers marched through the town, their rhythmic pounding echoing like a death knell. Jake and Maddie knew this was the final showdown. Armed with makeshift weapons and a determination born of love and survival, they confronted the drummers in the heart of Evergreen Bay. The battle was brutal, each swing of their weapons a fight for survival. Townsfolk joined in, inspired by Maddie and Jake's courage. The drummers fell one by one, but not without leaving scars, both physical and emotional, on the survivors. When the last infected collapsed, an eerie silence settled over the town. Maddie dropped to her knees, exhaustion and relief flooding through her. Jake pulled her into his arms, his grip firm yet comforting. "We did it," he murmured, his voice hoarse. But as they embraced, a chilling thought crossed Maddie's mind. Who had orchestrated this nightmare? And why? The answer came in the form of a haunting laugh that echoed through the deserted streets. A figure emerged from the shadows, clad in a crimson cloak. Their face was obscured, but the malice in their presence was palpable. Congratulations, the figure said, their voice smooth and dripping with mockery. You've survived my little game. But this is far from over. Maddie and Jake exchanged a glance, their resolve hardening. Whatever lay ahead, they would face it together. The 12 days of terror might have ended, but their fight was just beginning.
Welcome to the zombie story zone, where the tales of the undead are widely known. Join the hunt, uncover the fight,